Last night, Governor Steve Sisolak went on a live stream on the interwebs and made the most important speech of his entire career, both politically and professionally. And how did that go? It went a little something like this.
United and battle proven. The reality is this: no single elected official, business, government entity, or individual in Nevada can accomplish this task alone. Okay, Michael, I gotta interrupt you. I'm sorry. Can you please speak into your handset, because I'm having trouble hearing you in hygiene and whatnot moving forward, independent what kind of plan they can make. I did sign the decision, the directive yesterday, and if I'd have told Nevada first, I'd have had to call a press conference yesterday and then call another one today, and I didn't want to put everybody into 2 press conferences in 2 days. And I'd have to work with the Attorney General in terms of what feedback he's been handling the eviction situation.
Yeah, so all technical problems aside, I tell you, a 13-year-old with a PC or a MacBook running a Twitch live stream could have done a better job than what I saw yesterday. It was hard to understand what the governor's point was. It was hard to see when the casinos were going to open. It was difficult to see when our state was going to open. And it was like taking a magic 8-ball and asking it when the state was going to open, and it says outlook not so good, or all things murky. But let's unpack what Governor Sisolak said last night. Let's take a look at his leadership. Let's compare it to some leadership in the current administration and what their plan looks like, so you guys can get an idea of what Nevada's working with versus what the federal government's working with. And while we're at it, I'll introduce myself. My name's Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. I've been here for a long time, and I feel frustrated like everybody else on a different level than maybe you. Now, if you're coming to Vegas, you want to see the channel, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for the future notifications if you could, and leave a comment about how Sisolak is doing compared to your local government. Do they have it a little bit more together? What about your governor or your premier if you're up in Canada, or whatever the local leadership is called where you're from? And is this much of a plan? Just curious to know. If you want to be in the credits of the video, see blog posts, videos, and photos I don't post anywhere else, head on over to Patreon. And if you guys want to get a piece of merchandise, go over to the Teespring store. I'm going to make some new stuff this week. I'm going to try to be creative, because being creative when you're stuck at home, always a good idea, right? But Governor Sisolak said there's a plan, there's a roadmap. We have a roadmap. Now, the Trump administration made a roadmap a few weeks ago. It was 3 phases. It was pretty darn specific when certain types of businesses could reopen, what kind of restrictions that they would have, how long those restrictions would last until we moved into a next phase, what we would do if we had a problem going into the next phase, how we would extend it out. And wow, that was nice to see some kind of solidity and consistency within our government level from a federal level. Of course, this is the United States. We have states' rights. We are 50 different self-governing bodies that can do anything we want. That's why one state has a certain law for drinking age and another state has a different law. That's why one law in one state's different than the other. So we have to go with what the governor has in our situation. And what the governor has is unfortunately not much. Now, bad audio video aside, which made this very, very hard to watch, I downloaded the video and I'm watching through it right now and looking at it and going, what is going on with this? It looks like we enter into phase 1 maybe on May 15th, maybe sooner, which means that we're all stuck in our houses still until May 15th. Now, the governor reiterated so many times in a row that, you know what, we are really, really concerned. We want people back to work. Nobody knows this more than me. He bragged how he was a county commissioner, and he's the only governor in the country right now that was a county commissioner so recently. That doesn't seem much like a resume point, more like something you probably don't want to talk about, because the lack of experience might be showing right now with the governor, in all due respects. So phase 1 starts maybe May 15th. Maybe. He even admits in this, he doesn't know how many phases there will be. It could be a 4-phase plan. It could be a 6-phase plan. I want you to imagine that you're going to take a long road trip. You're starting in Long Island, New York, and your plan is to get to California. All you know is that for right now, we're going to get to Buffalo at some point. And then where are we going from there? I don't know. But hopefully we end up in California. That's kind of what we're looking at right here. And before you go asking, when are the casinos going to open? The casinos aren't opening anytime soon. The casinos have been ready to open for a long time. The casinos are rip-raring and ready to go. All the casinos are releasing plans. The Venetian has the clean plan. The Wynn has the Wynn surveillance plan, where they're going to just basically act like a police state. The MGM's formulating a plan. Phil Ruffin wants to open the Treasure Island. Everybody's looking to Boyd Station, you name it. People want to reopen. But Phase 1 won't include any bars, restaurants, any large religious gatherings, none of that stuff. Phase 1 keeps non-essential businesses basically opened, and some non-essential businesses can open, which is completely bipolar of what he actually is saying. That starts May 15th, as long as all 17 states are completely okay with it. So that means that if there's one little hot spot somewhere 500 miles away from Las Vegas, or vice versa, that means that none of those parts can open, because we're going to wait and see until, you know, the curve is flattened. After that, a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks until we enter into Phase 2. What's in Phase 2? I don't know. Nobody knows, because we don't know how many phases there are going to be. So this was a plan that was not really a plan. This would have been better served as a small press release with a PDF file, a pre-recorded video of Steve Sisolak talking about what he's going to do in terms of moving forward, and saying May 15th is the date, that as long as we're all together and we're all flattening the curve in all the 17 counties in Nevada, we're going to have no problem with kind of somewhat opening things up and easing up some restrictions. He did the Carolyn Goodman thing of placing everything back on the business type. So they said, well, he says it's not practical for a beauty salon or a barber shop to open because they only have 500 square feet, but we're going to leave it up to them. He said, well, we're going to let the casinos formulate a plan, and we're going to pass that on to the Nevada Gaming Commission, and we're going to leave that plan to them. Instead of saying, I sat down with all of these people, and I have some good news. We had the best minds in the world with multinational companies that have resorts all over the planet Earth and have access to data from every single sector of the globe. I have an idea. This is what we're going to do on May 15th, or May 15th. I'm sorry. Remember, 2 to 3 weeks for Phase 1. This is what we're going to do for possibly June 1st or June 7th or June 15th. Then that would have been a plan. That would have been some hope for everybody watching this video and everybody who works in the gaming sector out here. That would have been an idea for small businesses that maybe work with the casino ecosystem. So instead, we got a whole bunch of inconsistency. Shake the magic 8 ball. When are the casinos going to open? The result is unclear. Okay, fair enough. And if you don't know what a magic 8 ball is, it's something that we used and played with as kids before there was iPhones and video games everywhere. Anyways, Steve's plan is not much of a plan. Somebody literally asks, how many phases are there in the plan? They had a call-in of sorts, and at some point they had some people standing at a microphone. Not sure if they were actually with Steve Sisolak in the room, but it was very hard to watch because everything fell out of sync. There's parts of the video where you got Sisolak talking while he's drinking a bottle of water. Complete chaos and bedlam. So I don't know. It just seems really strange. It seems like the state of Nevada is still ill-prepared for what should really happen, and that we still need strong leadership at all levels to step in, which he said about a dozen times in his video. He wants strong leadership to break into things. He wants them to communicate. He formed a couple of committees. For some reason, politicians really like to have little clever acronyms. There's one called LEAP, which is the Local Empowerment Advisory Panel. They're going to be working with all different levels of government to make sure that everybody's ready to move forward in the next phase. But it seems like they're still not tapping the biggest, greatest resources they have, which is private industry here in Nevada. This state here was founded basically as a place where people could say, hands off me. I don't want to be bothered. I moved out west to a place where there is nothing. Now we're out west where there is a place where there is everything, with California bordering us with over 40 million people, with Arizona, huge growing economies. This is a place where we basically have to govern ourselves, but now we're being over-governed, in my opinion, by a government that hasn't worked with private business at all. So private business thrives out in Nevada. I wish they would tap into that. I wish they would work with these local leaders. I see casinos talking on conference calls with the President Donald Trump. I don't see casinos talking on conference calls with Steve Sisolak or I do that all the time, Mayor Carolyn Goodman. I don't see any of that stuff. Instead, I just see what I saw last night. So hopefully the next press conference we have will be him saying, guess what, everybody? We did it early. We're opening phase 1 early. Because once again, we have 2 to 3 weeks that we have to wait before phase 2. Now my sprinklers just came on out here, so this is the time of the video where I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, click. Remind you that I do live streams every night at 7:45 p.m. as long as we're sheltered in place. So it looks like I might be doing these for a long time. I just did my 21st consecutive live stream last night. It was real fun. I hope you guys would join in the fun with us. If you want to be on the credits of the video, head on over to Patreon so you guys can see stuff I don't post on YouTube. You guys can also go over to the Teespring store if you guys want to pick up a coffee mug so you can sit at home and watch your YouTube videos in style. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. This is the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. So 3, 2, 1, and click.